Welcome to Advanced and Performance Driving. I'm Reg Local. Today we're going to look at emergency braking or threshold braking. And that's the application of the brakes in an emergency, in an urgent situation that you've not anticipated. Now, the first thing I'd say about emergency braking is if you're applying the principles of advanced driving correctly and you're looking in the right places and making driving plans, thinking creatively about what might happen as you're driving along the road, you should never really need to brake in an emergency because you should be able to anticipate most situations before they happen. But you've got to remember that none of us are perfect. And it doesn't matter how good you are, there are situations that you'll miss or you'll misread, and occasionally you might need to apply the brakes in an emergency. So it's well worth having a go, finding somewhere quiet, somewhere you're not going to bother anybody else, and just try a little bit of emergency braking, even from slow speeds, just to get a feel for what it's like. It used to be a mandatory part of the driving test in the UK. Now it's an optional part of the driving test, so it's up to the examiner whether he asks the student to carry out an emergency stop or not. That's a bit of a backward step for me, really. I think it was a good thing to include in the driving test. It's a mandatory part of the motorcycle driving test, but it's not mandatory for the normal driving test these days. So we're going to have a look at braking distances. We're going to see how quickly you actually can stop in a modern car. We're also going to look at how to apply the brakes in an emergency, what the technique is, how you bring a car to a safe, controlled stop. So let's start by having a look at just how quickly we can actually bring a modern car to a stop. Now, if you're going to have a look at the braking distances in the highway code, we'll have a look at 30 miles an hour. And we're going to look at it in feet just to make things simple, because I'm a bit old-fashioned. But it's quite clever what it does in the highway code. It breaks it down to not just the braking distance, but it adds in the thinking distance as well and gives you an overall stopping distance. It gives you an overall stopping distance of 75 feet. And that's made up of 30 feet of thinking distance, 45 feet of braking distance. Now, traditionally what the highway code says is that your thinking distance is your speed in feet. So you have to accept that there is a particular distance that you're going to cover before you're able to touch the brakes. So that's between that hazard emerging, child running out, the animal running out, something happening in front of you. Between that happening and your foot reaching the brake pedal, clearly there's going to be a little bit of a time delay before you actually get your foot on the brake pedal. But then if we look at the actual braking distance, highway code says that the car will take 45 feet to stop from 30 miles an hour. Now this car is about 14 and a half, let's call it 15 feet long. So the highway code reckons it's going to take about 3 car lengths for me to stop this car from 30 miles an hour. So let's go and try it out and let's see just how close we'll get to that. So all I've done is stuck an umbrella in the ground a little bit further down this road. It's a nice quiet road in the Scottish Highlands. I'm going to drive along here at 30 miles an hour. As soon as I'm parallel with that umbrella, as soon as the front of my car is next to that umbrella, I'm going to hit the brakes full on, do an emergency stop. Let's just see how quickly we can come to a stop. So a little bit quicker that time, it's only just over 1 car length. So it's really interesting to do that comparison and see just how quickly a modern car will stop compared with the braking distances in the highway code. So why are the braking distances in the highway code so far out from reality? Well, actually, you know, I don't really object to them being that much longer. If people learn those braking distances and think that's how long it's going to take them to stop, then hopefully they're going to be a little bit cautious approaching situations where they might need to brake in an emergency. And those braking distances take into account the worst possible scenario, so a slippery road surface, a car in poor condition with brakes in poor condition, and maybe bald tyres and a driver that's not very awake or alert. So I don't think there's any harm in the highway code braking distances being longer than they are in reality, but it's good to know that we can easily beat those braking distances by a third. Easily by a third there. 45 feet, we got it down to just over 15 feet in the wet, and I'm sure we could get it down to around about 15 feet in the dry, one car length. So we can stop in one car length from 30 miles an hour. How long is it going to take us from 60 miles an hour? Well, you might think it would be 2 car lengths, but actually no, there's a very good basic rule in relation to braking, and that is if you double your speed, quadruple your braking distance. So if we can stop in 15 feet from 30 miles an hour, it's not going to be 30 feet from 60 miles an hour, it's actually going to be 60 feet. So that's 4 car lengths. But even so, it's only 4 car lengths from 60 miles an hour, which is pretty impressive, to be honest, and actually makes you rethink limit point assessments and whether you can stop in the distance you can see to be clear and things like that. The important thing is use the right technique when you're emergency braking. Now the brakes on a car are working at the most effective just before the wheels lock up. And ABS anti-lock brakes allow you to take the car right up to that point where the wheels are locking up, and then they recognise that the wheels are starting to lock up and they momentarily release the brakes. I'm talking about a fraction of a second here. They release the brakes and then they reapply the brakes again. It's possible that you'll feel a vibration through the foot pedal when you activate the ABS. That's normal, although some more modern cars don't vibrate in the same way. Quite a few modern cars as well will activate the hazard lights, so you'll see the hazard lights come on briefly. And that's to help when you're driving on the motorway. You can use the hazard lights to warn people behind that the traffic is slowing down up ahead, and if you're braking in emergency, the hazard lights are an additional warning for people behind that you're braking very hard. But the technique is simple. You hit the brakes as hard and as fast as you possibly can and keep the brakes applied until you come to a stop. Now the other thing to remember with ABS as well is that it allows you to continue steering. So because the wheels aren't locking up, they're still rotating even under full braking, the ABS allows you to steer around a hazard. So if it's a child or an animal that's run out from between some parked cars, hit the brakes as hard as you can and steer around it. It's not a subtle technique. This isn't smooth progressive driving like we teach. You'll see in most of the other videos that I've done. It's quite brutal. You need to hit the brakes as hard as you can, steer around the hazard. So let's start by emergency braking from a fairly low speed, 30 miles an hour. Sort of speed that we'll be driving at on urban roads, town roads. The sort of speed that you'll be driving at when a child might just run out in front of you. And the technique is dead simple. Hit the brakes as hard as you possibly can. And that's it. There's nothing more to it than that. Hit the brakes as hard and as quickly as you possibly can and keep the brakes on. Now, I felt some vibration back up through the brake pedal then, anti-lock brakes kicking in. The car very, very quickly comes to a stop. Let's try it from a slightly higher speed now. I'm checking just so you know, I'm checking the mirrors very carefully before I do any of this. We're on a nice quiet road up in the north of Scotland. Can't see anything behind us. Doing 50 miles an hour now. So checking the mirrors. 3, 2, 1. Hit the brakes as hard as you can. And you'll notice on that occasion the emergency hazard lights came on, as they would do on the motorway if you were slowing down in an emergency, because the traffic was backing up, and it helps warn following traffic that the traffic is backing up. So you notice, as far as the clutch is concerned, yeah, I press the brakes first and then the clutch. I'm only pressing the clutch so we don't stall the engine. It's really not that important. Just press the brakes. If the engine stalls, it's fine. We're coming to a stop anyway. You can always restart the engine. Don't worry about stalling the car in an emergency. All we want to do is bring the car to a stop. So let's find a safe area now. We're going to do it at a higher speed now. We're going to do it at national speed limit, 60 miles an hour. So I'm checking the mirrors, nothing behind, 60 miles an hour, 3, 2, 1, stop. Again, the hazard lights have come on. Get away before any traffic comes into view. You can see just how quickly the car will come to a stop. But the really important thing is that you press the brakes hard enough. I can't emphasise this enough. So many people will press the brakes quickly, but not hard enough. You need to absolutely muller that brake pedal as hard as you possibly can, as though you're trying to push it through the bulkhead of the car. You're not going to break it. That's what it's designed to do. In an emergency, you want to get that car stopped as quickly as you possibly can. Now, just a few things to bear in mind if you're going to try this yourself. Find somewhere quiet. You don't need to do this from the high speeds. Just need to experience it at about 25-30 miles an hour maximum. So find an industrial estate or somewhere really quiet. Don't have anything loose in your car knocking about. If you have anything loose on your back seat, it's going to whack you on the back of the head very quickly. Just double check your tyre pressures. Always worth checking your tyre pressures once a week. Make sure they're good. Your tyres are in good condition. You haven't got any warning lights on the dashboard for ABS failure or anything like that. But I would really encourage you to go and have a go and just get a feel for what the car's like. Try and see how quickly you can stop the car. I guarantee the first time you try it, you will not press the brakes hard enough. The worrying thing is that the first time most people try this is in that emergency, and they're not going to press the brakes hard enough. It's really, really important that you get a go at this and you know just how hard you need to hit those brakes. Something else you need to know about modern cars and modern stability systems is that ABS is linked in to a much broader range of stability control systems in the car, all designed to try and keep you from leaving the road and from having an accident. A lot of people think that you can only do your braking in a straight line. Now, it's best practice to try and do your braking in a straight line before a corner. Believe you me, in a modern car, you will easily be able to emergency brake to a nice safe stop, even if you're going around quite a tight corner at speed. The car stability systems are designed to modulate the brake pressure to different brakes and different wheels. They recognise the speed that different wheels are turning at, and they recognise the last input that you gave on the steering wheel. So as long as you point the car in the direction that you want to go with the steering wheel, you'll be able to brake nice and safely in an emergency, even if you're going around a corner. So let's just have a look at that now. Just to show you that you can brake safely in a corner as well, the stability systems will do everything they can to keep you on the road and pointed in the right direction. Let's approach this next corner at some speed. Checking the mirrors, there's absolutely nothing behind us. Once we turn into this corner, I'm going to hit the brakes full on as though in an emergency. Let's see what the car does. Just get past these sheep. So a good quick road, a good quick corner. 3, 2, 1. Absolutely no problem at all stopping in a corner at speed. It's not the ideal way to drive. It doesn't keep the car very well balanced. It's not smooth. I wouldn't advise you do that for every corner. However, in an emergency, it is perfectly possible to stop, brake really, really hard, full-on emergency braking in a corner, on a wet road, at reasonable speed, without coming to any harm or any difficulties at all. So that's my take on emergency braking. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed the video. I'm Reg Local, and we'll see you next time.